Yeah, item 2, parking on roadways. Seeing here we have, deeds restrict parking on roadways. Are we not enforcing this?
Some deeds.
Some deeds. Are we?
And when I'm saying parking on roadways, I don't mean, I'm not referring to vehicles parked on easements or shoulder areas, but actually on the roadway itself.
So are we enforcing that?
We issue notices, we contact the owners.
Okay, so we are.
You don't need any further help on this, do you?
No.
All right, good.
On the same subject within the Board of Traffic Enforcement, we started to discuss this issue at the last meeting, which has to do with the Compliance Committee's problems and concerns about what's going on in enforcing fines. We agreed to discuss this. Is that going to be discussed tonight?
Isn't that on tab 7? Or is
No,
it?
it's not
It's a
that.
different one, okay.
No. But it will be discussed.
Okay.
I'd like to ask about number 1, Ray. You made a bunch of proposals here, very, very expensive proposals. Is the board at all interested in entertaining these proposals this year? I don't hear any residents.
What are the proposals? Where you said?
Well, they're expensive in the short term. They can be a cost saver for the association in the long run, and that's the intent. This was included for discussion purposes only, John.
Where are the expensive items? We're gonna reduce fuel, we're gonna cut less grass.
Planting trees, initial cost of converting it from a lawn area to a natural.
Without getting into discussing the cost of cutting grass versus planting trees, is anybody interested in pursuing this year in a very difficult financial year? Okay, I thought not. Ray, we'll take this at the budgeting time. I'd like to ask about this LHCC debt recovery update. Are you saying that our brand new debt collection firm has declined to do any debt collection?
No, they're not going to go to the limits they would normally take for accounts that are not linked to a case similar to Venus or like Venus. As soon as these accounts were turned over to them, they immediately picked up on the Venus case, and that the association is having issues with the authority to levy is being challenged. So this is a concern to them. They don't want to get drawn into that lawsuit, but they say that although this may be somewhat of a limitation, they don't think it's really going to hamper their collection efforts. But I was really surprised that within a day of turning these accounts over, I got a call back and asking me about the details of the Venus case and how it is affected and how it might affect collections.
But they have determined that the Venus case somehow affects LHCC debt, which has nothing to do with assessment.
They understand that.
It's the utility company charging fees for delivering services.
Right. But they are concerned as a business of being drawn into a suit, pursuing accounts that are associated with an association. We have those receivables. So it's just by association. I understand the distinction.
Anybody else think that we ought to direct Ray to go get a better debt collection agency?
I think we might run into the same issues, and I think that before they even turned over a case manager, they had collected on 3 of the accounts. So these are very difficult accounts to pursue, and I think they need to be given, at least 2 to 3 months to see what they can produce.
What manner are we using to pay for this? Per account that they collect or whatever? They take the card that they collect.
Yes.
So they just take
We get
what-
70% for the collection.
Then they only
Get
pay.
how much?
70.
70?
Yeah.
70%?
Yes, and they get 30.
They get
Then-
We get 70,
We
they get 30.
They get
That's what I
Other way
thought.
around.
That's what I thought was our deal.
Okay. Right.
I think so, 'cause that's exactly what I heard, is they got 70.
That's what I did say. All right. Is the board satisfied with continuing with this debt collection agency, even though they're not giving us the full benefit of their services?
I think for the
Yeah,
time
they're
being.
making some results, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get the same reluctance on the part of anybody, quite frankly. When they see the lawsuit hanging out there, they're just gonna. I think we ought to stick with them for the time being, at least.
If they collected anything, that's
I'd
quite
like
impressive.
to, I'd like to ask about item 6, LHCC is moving their trailer. Are we going to have any cost associated with that at all?
No.
For rehabbing the site? Capping the utilities,
Certainly we could look at it, but we have in the site, I don't think so.
Is that our property?
So you don't
He's
think
offered to lease it to us for $440 a month.
the trailer?
The trailer?
So you don't believe we have any cost?
I'll look into that, I don't have an answer for you.
Could you believe it?
Oh, I have a question about the erosion control monthly report. The very last item, the very last item on the erosion control monthly report, Zeb apparently accosted a couple of juveniles for riding skateboards on roadways. They gave them a verbal warning. Against what?
Well, I think his intent was that he was just providing a safety, piece of fatherly advice to these guys who are riding on roadways with vehicles.
Well, I wish he had said that.
Yeah.
I mean, this
I
implies
think
that
that's, I understand
he
the
warned them that they
implication.
were violating a rule. They were not violating any rule. They had no rule that prohibits skateboards on a roadway.
Mhm.
And if Zeb thinks we do, we need to,
No, I think that was his intent.
okay.